part of the Earglue Media family of podcasts.
You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mando Monday. I am your host, Mike Rondo, and, well, I have to say, this episode of Mando Monday is going to be pretty exciting, pretty positive, because it wasn't much that I didn't like in this episode. This was really good. So let's get into this. Let me find my notes here real quick. Here we go. All right, so typically I break it down, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and most of this is good. Now, other than the obvious of the Easter eggs, the callbacks and stuff, I'm not going to get into that too much because it was really, really good with all that stuff. It always is, right? So hold on, I'm messing up my screens here. There we go. All right, so I'm better. All right, so let's the main thing I've been saying throughout this season, season 2, is they get right to the speculation that we've been talking about over the summer, right? Like they did this with Cobb Vanth, the Boba Fett armor, showing Boba Fett at the end, Bo-Katan, and here we got Ahsoka right in the first seconds of the episode. You see the white lightsabers and everything, and you know who it is. If you've been following the Clone Wars Rebels and you know who Ahsoka is, like most of us do. I have a friend, my friend Bob, who doesn't know too much, but now he's going back. Like a lot of other fans now, they're jumping back into Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that. So yeah, and of course, Morai showing up in the. It looks like Morai. I'm gonna go with that. When Din is walking with I don't. Well, anyway, Grogu. We'll say his name. We'll get it out of there. But we'll get to that in another second here. But Dave stepped up his directing, in my opinion. I thought he did an excellent job, far better than last season. I mean, this is his third episode I think he directed, or second. And it almost seems like John gave him the keys to this and said, "All right, it's your girl, your character. Go with it. Do what you want. Make it as special as you want. Make that debut awesome." And he nailed that. I thought he did a fantastic job. A lot of people, I don't know, I think some people had some issues, but for the most part, I thought it was really, really good. And I'll get into the other thing. Rosario Dawson, I thought did well. And I'm going to get more into that in a minute. But I think overall, she did well. Considering the role that she was trying to do, knowing how us Star Wars fans can be, I think she did a good thing. And I think she nailed the mannerisms down. As far as I could tell, I think she nailed the smile, the way she walks, the way she moves, that we've seen in the Clone Wars. I thought it was done pretty well. And of course, seeing Ahsoka on the screen. This is long overdue, in my opinion, and I'm just glad it happened. Now let's get into something I wasn't expecting was Grogu, which is a name that surprisingly I can kind of say. I've heard others say it differently than what I heard on the show, so maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But Grogu, that was unexpected that they dropped the name like that. And I'm not surprised by it when you think back, when you're looking at it, because obviously Ahsoka would kind of know. I thought that was pretty cool. And it was just unexpected. And like Din, we were like, huh? Okay, we were taken back by that. The other thing I liked was the Ahsoka fighting with the magistrate, Morgan Elsbeth, which I thought was an interesting character. And that leads to more questions. I'm not sure. This was very much like Maul versus Kenobi, very samurai like as Dave likes to do. The very slow, precise fighting, and then you get that one blow. Although we didn't get that there. We didn't get the death stroke or anything like that. We got the, all we got was the lightsaber to the throat and asking where the Grand Admiral Thrawn is, and that's all we got. Obviously, she probably died. Who knows with Ahsoka or what happened there. We didn't get that information, which was interesting. You thought we would have got that information based on the scene, but I'm glad we didn't get that because that leads us into a whole other area where we're going to go at some point. And then the other thing was Din standing off with Lang, in the middle of the street, the high noon kind of standoff type thing, the showdown. That was great. It was done very well. For a moment, You kind of think, oh, okay, he's gonna run away, but nope, nope. You kind of knew. We kind of all knew that no, this isn't gonna go that way. There's gonna be a showdown and stuff like that. So I thought the mixing of Dave did a really good job of mixing the old samurai Kurosawa, samurai films and the old spaghetti westerns together, kind of merging those two worlds very well. I mean, it was just done very well. I liked how it was filmed, very dark and gritty. The environment, I thought that was really cool because then it showed the lightsabers really well. The HK droids, I wasn't going to mention the Easter eggs, but this was cool to see the HK droids uh, being mentioned. It was a brief mention, and then Tython, which I thought of Albert immediately because it made me think of Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it made me think of the Cantina Cast when we first started this show. And Tython was one of the planets you could go to. This was the first place where the Jedi were established or whatever, the old canon and stuff. That's obviously not that now, and it's cool that we are going to go there. This is a planet that's been in the old EU for a long time, and it's great that we're going to see it on the screen. And then one thing that I thought was really great, and Ashley Eckstein mentions this in her statement on Instagram to the fans, is Ahsoka is hope for all of us and whatnot. And at the end of that episode, you see that Ahsoka smile and you see the hope in her face, and that's really awesome. I'm happy that it just that's how I felt at the end of the episode. And Ahsoka's always like that. So that was really good. So countless things were awesome in this episode. The fighting was awesome for the most part, but we'll get into the bad because you got to have a little bad and the awesome stuff. And this isn't really bad. This is kind of more of a notation of how I reacted. So I saw this at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I got to say, I've done this for this season. I got up at 3 a.m. and they haven't pulled me in as much as this one did. Now, granted, it's 3 a.m., so I'm a little groggy when I watch these things. So, when you see Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka, it's a little jarring at first for me. It was like, okay, is this gonna work? I don't know. I was very apprehensive, but the more I've seen this episode, the more I've warmed up to it, and I'm like, okay, we're good with it. I can roll with this. Let's go with it. The fightings in the beginning seemed a little odd, like her movements seemed a little jerky at first, but it got better as we went on. And the other thing that threw me off was the voice of Rosario. I'm so used to Ashley, as we all are. But I got used to it again. Again, this all rubbed off after I've seen it a few times. I know my daughter even mentioned, why didn't they just get Ashley to play? Well, we'll get into that when I get into the questions in a minute. Let's see, what else? I guess the ugly is that they didn't have Ashley do it, but there's reasons for that. And I'll get into that in my questions in a second here. I don't think it was bad. I think I'm good with Rosario playing Ahsoka, and going forward, I'm good with that. And I have a feeling Ashley will again, appear. And of course, Ashley does the voice in The Rise of Skywalker. If she's technically dead at that point, it's good that it goes full circle and she does the voice for that. But anyway, the ugly was, and this is just weird on my part. It's not so much anything particular, and it's this here. And I got my images all screwed up on the screen here, so you'll have to forgive me. I had a lot of problems because my computer we lost power, and I had to reboot my computer and everything. So things aren't set exactly how I wanted them. But anyway, this is a scene where Ahsoka and Din are meeting in front of the gate there to the magistrate, and Ahsoka's on top, and Din's right there facing Lang, and Ahsoka kind of jumps down the next image. Let me see if I get it there. And the next image, you can kind of see, I got this online here, so I don't know if you can see it too well, but Ahsoka's standing right at the gate where she was just standing up there. It just seemed wonky to me, like that magistrate Morgan Elsbeth wouldn't see this. And I mean, she was ready for her to come. She kind of expected it or whatever. So I don't know. It just seemed kind of goofy to me. That was the one. It was almost like Pants Man for me in last episode. It just kind of it hung up on me, but it was not a big deal. I like the visual of what we got with Ahsoka standing up and Din down there. She had the high ground, so to speak. But overall, awesome episode. Let's get into the questions because we got many of them in this episode. We get a lot of answers. We got Grogu. Ahsoka doesn't want to train him, all this other stuff. So, all right, where the hell is Sabine if Ahsoka is here hunting down Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I thought about this, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, is she off looking for Ezra herself, Sabine? Kind of a divide and conquer thing. Uh, Ahsoka's like, well, I'll go after the Imperial, so I'll go after Thrawn. You go after, see if you can find anything on Ezra on your own. Or is Sabine dead at this point? I don't know. Or whatever. We'll find out. Is she with Bo somewhere? Who knows what's going on at that point? Um, Will we get a live action series with Ahsoka going forward? I have to say yes. This is what my thinking is with Rosario being cast. Now, Rosario had said ages ago that she wanted to be, sorry about that ding, that she wanted to play Ahsoka, and it turned out to be true. So I'm a little distracted with that ding that I had on my computer. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I did. But anyway, so she got the part, which is great. And I got to thinking, well, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just go with Ashley? If it's a one kind of off thing, a guest appearance thing, you could have pulled this off with Ashley, I think. But they have bigger plans for Ahsoka. Obviously, there'll be a live action Ahsoka. I think we're going to get a live action Thrawn, which will be cool to see. And Sabine and all those other questions, I think that'll happen. Now, the other thing I want to know is she only looking for Thrawn and not Ezra? Maybe the Ezra mystery was solved. I don't know. Maybe it's just for Thrawn. And what is Thrawn doing? I go back to the Aftermath series where it's mentioned he has a fleet. But when you see Rebels, he goes off with Ezra. So I don't know. That's a little murky in water. The waters are a little muddy there. So we're going to have to find out what that is going forward. So we got a lot of questions with Ahsoka going forward. And I think that is why we're going to have a live action Ahsoka series, and Rosario is playing it because she's we all know Ashley and everything, but as general fans and everything, more people know Rosario, I think, because she's been in movies and stuff, and Ashley's really been a voice actress and stuff. So I don't know. That's my thinking. I could be completely wrong. For a second there, this image here that I had, I'll pull this up right here in the beginning. When I saw this image, I actually thought that was the face of Ashley for like 2 seconds. Again, it was 3 a.m., so I was a little groggy. But anyway, let's get into Grogu. Who took Grogu from the temple? Now, I had speculation in Discord. I hope you guys join us on our Discord channel. The links are in the description and everything. We've had a lot of fun talking about The Mandalorian. And we'd gone back and debated this a little bit in the Discord. I tend to think he was taken long before Order 66 happened. I get that feeling for some reason, like someone kind of knew this, and I feel Yoda has a lot to do with this, and I feel like this is Yoda's son or something. Something's going on here that we need answers to for some reason. And I'm not one that normally wants answers. Usually I like a little bit of mystery. So I don't know who took him. Let's see. Was it Yoda that took him? Was it Mace? Was it Anakin? That would be interesting. Was it Palpatine himself? Maybe, I don't know. For reasons we kind of know, and maybe that's why the Empire knows about him, and that's why they're hunting him down because of the midichlorians. I don't know. I think it was before Order 66. Like, I'm talking maybe a year or two before that. I don't know. Could be even longer. Who knows? But I hope we get the answer to that. So, who will seek out Grogu? I hope tongue tied there. Grogu. I have the assumption it's Luke, but I'm not so sure. I mean, wouldn't Yoda come to Luke and say, "Hey, this is a kid that looks just like me. You got to go find him or something. Go check out that planet." Is it Ezra? I kind of think no. I don't think. I think they want to leave Ezra off in a mystery, although that would tie back into Ezra with the Mandalorian, then go and find Ahsoka. Like that could be some sort of a mission. I don't know. Was it Cal from Jedi Fallen Order? It's a good possibility. Cal and the team there showing up and kind of figuring out this kid and whatnot. I don't think Cal is really ready to be a Jedi trainer master here, right? Like I don't think he could train, but then again, Kanan and Ezra, same thing, right? It wasn't really, going on there. Then I have Snoke. Will Snoke show up and we'll get some kind of BS line or something and Din kind of gets out of that? I doubt that. Or is it the Knights of Ren? That would be interesting as well. And then my wild theory, let's do this. We'll play this. Is Mace Windu, will he come back? I think so. I think it's going to be Mace. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I figured I'd throw that in there. That would be interesting. It's a good way to pull him back in, right? Like he had a good connection with Yoda and stuff. And so maybe this is one of those things you see him training little Yoda there, baby Yoda or Grogu. And the other thing is, we're going to place him on the stone here. What path will he choose, light or dark? I tend to think he goes dark, man. That's just the way I feel about him. Seems like he's not. He's got those tendencies, and I love the callback where Ahsoka, who's seen it firsthand, a Jedi fall from his attachments and his love for someone, and she's like, "Yeah, I ain't training this." She goes Yoda on us, like, "Nope, ain't training the boy. You figure it out on your own," type of stuff. So, but anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Mando Monday. Thank you for joining me. It was an awesome episode. I can't wait for next week. And we only got a few weeks left. This is going by really quick. Kind of crazy. But anyway, take care, everyone. Have a happy Mando Monday, and I'll see you next week.
You're still listening? Wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.